What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were. He is over here breaking down because he loves this child so much. I sit here day after day after day with women hoping.
Miss Kavanaugh faked a pregnancy and kept that up for weeks. She did it in such an interesting way, too. So much time was spent lying. After all of this, the results from the paternity test jilted the life out of her. Here is how it all went down.
Miss Kavanaugh, you and your mother are appearing in court today to prove paternity of your 3-week-old son, Malcolm.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you claim his biological father is Mr. Bowles.
Yes, Your Honor.
Even though you admit to being intimate with another man, Mr. McElliott, during the window of conception.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Bowes goes on to shoot himself in the leg. He says that he has never seen the 3-week-old Malcolm before today. Regardless of this, he claims that Malcolm is not his biological baby. How can one even tell if this is the first time he's seeing the baby? This is an interesting question, especially since Miss Kavanaugh keeps insisting that the baby belongs to Mr. Bowes.
Your Honor, I believe Mr. Bowles is my son's father. Even though we wasn't in a committed relationship, we had unprotected sex frequently, and he has not been around. He doesn't ask about my son. He probably didn't even know my son's name was Malcolm until now, because my son doesn't have a voice, so I'm his voice.
There's one other person in question.
Miss Kavanaugh's mother seems to be more involved in all of this than Miss Kavanaugh herself, even. Although Mr. Bowes admits to being intimate with Miss Kavanaugh a couple of times, here is the reason why he is 100% sure about the paternity of baby Malcolm.
Actually, when we first met the first night, we had sex within like 20 minutes of being in her house.
It wasn't within 20 minutes.
And then, like, probably 3 weeks later, maybe 2 weeks later, I found like an open condom wrapper in her bathroom.
There's some type of connection. It wasn't just he came over one night and just we did it. And then the condom that he's talking about, it was my friend's that I worked with. Her and her boyfriend spent the night, and that was that.
She said she used it. She said it was with her ex.
Well, oh well. Now it'll seem like Mr. Bowes is getting quite paranoid and has started to believe things that didn't happen. On to Miss Kavanaugh. She went on to explain that the first person she told about her pregnancy was Mr. Bowes. She did this simply because she wanted to be in a committed relationship with him, but he did not respect her. All these feelings led her to be intimate with Mr. McElliott.
I wanted to be in a serious relationship with Mr. Bowles, and I felt like he didn't respect me and didn't care about my feelings. So yes, I did have one encounter with Mr. McElliott, but I felt like I wanted to do that to make him jealous because I wanted him to see that somebody else wants me and maybe he would want me, which is a very immature and childish way of thinking. I now know that because it didn't work at all. I told both of them at the time that I found out that I was pregnant. I told both of them.
This is where Mr. Bowes spills the tea about how Miss Kavanaugh actually lied about being pregnant. They saw one another every day, and she was getting very infatuated with the young man. However, he was not giving her the attention she wanted. This is when she took the initiative.
I did childishly try to fake a pregnancy test. I went to the store, got a pregnancy test, was going to take 2 negatives, turn it into a positive, and when, yes.
Take 2 negatives and turn it into a positive?
Yes. Crack them open and turn them into a positive.
Oh, and put 2 of the lines together. So you had a plan to pretend you were pregnant in order to keep him.
What a woman. It's interesting that anyone would even think about that. When Mr. Bowes heard about the pregnancy, he did not believe her at first, considering that she was just planning to lie to him about something so crazy. That's a man that truly knows the woman he's with, if you ask me. He added that he did not trust her because he knew that she was intimate with other men, also saying that it's not just one other man she was with, but a bunch of others.
I could be carrying your child and you just disrespect me. I told him I didn't want to have sex anymore until we were in a committed relationship. We fell asleep because I was tired. He wakes me up at 3 o'clock in the morning and tells me he's going to go have sex with another woman.
What?
Yeah, so
you wake her up to tell her that?
First of all, we was just friends, so I can leave and go
just because I was asleep, that justifies what you did?
We wasn't together, so I can leave and go back to my house and do whatever I want.
This was about the first month that I was pregnant.
Turns out Mr. Bowes is not an angel after all. He said that to her in her first month of pregnancy. Isn't that something? Regardless of all of this, Miss Kavanaugh still has feelings for Mr. Bowes, which is utterly mind-boggling as it is. After a lot of banter, we finally get to meet the second potential father, Mr. McElliott.
My relationship with Miss Kavanaugh, I would say, is a very special one. Me and her, we met. I got her number. I called her that evening, offered her for a movie. We hooked up and went out to eat or something like that. But ever since—
So you took her on dates and courted her and treated her like a lady should be treated?
Always.
Good.
That was definitely a jab in Mr. Bose's general direction. Mr. McElliott found out about the pregnancy from a picture of an ultrasound Miss Kavanaugh sent, which she insists looks like his mother. What an interesting turn of events. Looks like truly we have two possible fathers in court today.
So, as you look at Malcolm, who do you think he looks like?
I want to say Mr. Bowles, but you can't always go on looks. But I just have a feeling. I would, honestly, Your Honor, I would be very pleased and very happy if it was Mr. McElliott's because he would be a good father. But I just don't know.
The new guy, Mr. Modelman McElliott, added that sure, he signed the birth certificate, but he did that only because the whole paternity thing was beginning to stress him out. It was stressful on Miss Kavanaugh as well, and that made it easier for him to sign it because he absolutely does not mind starting a family with her. However, it gets good. Mr. McElliott spills the beans and shares this with the court.
I believe there was third party or something that was included in this.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true, Your Honor.
Oh, no, it's true.
That's true, Your Honor.
A third party?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please elaborate on the third party.
It was a very drunken night, and it was a one-night stand.
Do you remember whether you used protection or not?
No. That's why I think it may be another person, but I'm not quite sure.
Whoa! So there really is a third man involved in all of this. What a woman, and what a drunken night that must have been. After this little reveal, the funniest conversation ensues in court. It would seem like Miss Kavanaugh's mother does not understand whose court she just stepped into, really.
That's something I don't understand, though. Men, like, you're having sex all over and you're intimate. I'm not referring
It's not
to you.
right for anybody.
Yeah, but when a girl does it, it's like, whoa, whoa. Well, what about them? Like, it makes no sense. And it wasn't right for her to do it.
Well, since we want to go to school, let me take you there. We, women, bear the children. Meaning, they can orbit in uncertainty indefinitely, not knowing whether or not they're the father.
Judge Lake put Miss Kavanaugh and her mother in the school bus, took them to school, and brought them back to paternity court in just about 5 minutes. Oh, they are not done one bit. There's so much more to be said.
Miss Kavanaugh, what your daughter learned was a very valuable lesson. A, pick and choose very wisely. Who you gonna lay down with, right? And look, you cannot make a man love you by trying to have his baby or trick him into having his baby.
And I never said that she could.
It's true. Look, these aren't lessons just your daughter has to learn. These are lessons all women had to learn.
After so much bickering in court today, the results are out and we all get to hear it. Everyone is on the edge of their seats as we're all trying to figure out who the father of baby Malcolm is. Could it be the cold-hearted Mr. Bose, Mr. Nice Guy McElliott, or Mr. What's-His-Name third-party drunk encounter? There's just one way to find out.
Mr. McElliott, you are not his father. Mr. Bowles, you are not his father. Calm down.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to put you guys through all that.
I am hoping that you still pursue Malcolm's biological father. Do you know who that is? Is it that third person or do you not know?
Imagine being an amazing father to your little girl throughout her life for 3 years and having a woman take that away from you simply because she hates you. This was the thought of Scotty Rasmussen before paternity court. Oh, if only he knew. Miss Miller, Scotty's girlfriend, is in court today to prove that he is not the father of her little girl, Zaylee Rasmussen.
You say you've been there for your daughter her entire life, and you're here today to prove you are Zaylee's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Rasmussen, why is Ms. Miller saying you're not Zaylee's father?
Your Honor, I believe it's just out of pure hatred. She just doesn't want me to have visitation. I drive 160 miles every other weekend just to pick up my daughter and drop her off. That's about 10,000 miles. That's wear and tear on my car.
What an interesting opening to the case. Mr. Rasmussen went ahead to admit that he cheated on Miss Miller at the end of their relationship when things got rocky. Miss Miller insisted that he cheated on her through the entire duration of their relationship. One could imagine that this is where the hate spoken of comes from. However, Miss Miller insists that he cannot afford to take care of little Zaylee.
Is it enough to buy her clothes so she doesn't have to wear cut-off sweatpants and the same t-shirt every time I pick her up?
I do that because I don't want... Is
it enough money to buy her underwear so you don't got to keep putting her in diapers at 4 years old?
I have underwear for her, and she is not in diapers. She is in pull-ups. She is in training right now. She is having problems.
She is.
But what he's saying, Miss Miller, is it's clearly not about money if he's paying his child support.
Well, That went south for Miss Miller pretty fast. She goes on to insist that she does not exactly hate Mr. Rasmussen, but she wants him away from her daughter because she knows that she is not his. She goes on to explain further to the court.
You were intimate with someone else, and you believe that you were intimate with that other person during the time Zaylee was conceived, and Mr. Rasmussen was all the way in Las Vegas.
Yes, Your Honor.
But clearly, at some point, Mr. Rasmussen either thought or was informed that he was her biological father because he is paying child support, he's still driving 160 miles each way, and she has his last name.
All of this points to the fact that Mr. Rasmussen is her biological father, or at least on a normal day, in a place that is not paternity court, it does. His name is on the birth certificate too. Apparently, Miss Miller only brought up the notion that he may not be Zaylee's biological father at about 4 months after she was born. What a woman. Now, here's what she had to say about the other possible father.
Where's this other possible father?
I'm not even quite sure. After we broke up, he changed his number, he moved, he pretty much disappeared. I have tried to find him, I have tried to get a hold of him, and I can't find him.
But you keep saying Mr. Rasmussen cheated, he did this, he did that. And as wrong as that may be, you also slept with somebody else.
We weren't even dating then. I was single at that time.
So he basically wants nothing to do with her, or even the thought of having a baby. And here she is, so intent on making sure that Mr. Rasmussen is not the biological father. Isn't that just something? Miss Miller says that she does not feel bad about mentioning that her daughter is not Scotty's after such a long time. She says that after those few months, she realized that Zaylee's physical features were just beginning to resemble the other guys.
You are insisting that Mr. Rasmussen is not the child's father, and yet you're receiving child support from Mr. Rasmussen. Have you petitioned the court to have Mr. Rasmussen taken off of child support?
I have told him a couple times that if he would just sign her over to me, that he wouldn't have to pay child support anymore.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give up that easy. I'm fighting for what I know is mine.
Closing in on the results, Mr. Rasmussen states that if truly Zaylee is his, he will be overjoyed, and it would make him a very happy man to know that all of this drama is over. However, if she isn't, he stated that there is no amount of time in the world to prepare him for such a bombshell. Rightly so, too. Oh well, who's gonna tell him?
I know in my heart that it will, that she is mine. I'm just gonna be overjoyed that all the drama and the fighting and all that kind of stuff is behind me. If it goes the other way, I don't think if I had all the time in the world, I could, prepare myself for such a bombshell. I don't think I'd be able to prepare myself for just how devastating that would be to not only me, but my entire family.
Jerome, I think it's time for the results.
Okay.
After much ado, it's time to hear the verdict. The results are out, and all parties get to hear their fate. This is one of the most dramatic reveals in the history of Judge Lake's court, that's for sure.
Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father. Miss Miller.
Be respectful.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve, considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve. You just showed me where your priorities were right there.
I'm sorry.
Because I held out hope that you weren't just acting a fool.
Oh, Judge Lake is not having any of it. She sat Miss Miller down and schooled her properly. Now, who is going to break this sad news to little Zaylee? To think that the man who she knows as a father through all these years is not her biological father. Right now in that courtroom, Mr. Rasmussen must feel worse than being hit by a truck.
What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
I'm not.
No, you were. He is over here breaking down because he loves this child so much. A man would drive 16 miles to see their baby, much less 160 miles each way, and sign a birth certificate and come day after day and week after week so they can grow visitation to have a relationship with the child.
After getting caught in paternity court once, Miss Bodine is in paternity for the second time, and this time it's to find out if her 2 children actually belong to Mr. Benning. How many times is Mr. Benning going to be crying on live TV in a courtroom? Let's find out.
So, Mr. Benning, tell me about your relationship with your daughter, Robin, and how these paternity doubts are affecting you.
Well, first off, Your Honor, my mother passed away when I was 14 years old. She was my best friend. We spent every waking moment together. And after she died, it, left me hurt. I always wanted a daughter, and I promised I was going to take care of her.
Miss Bodine admits to cheating on Mr. Benning. There's no use denying it at this point. Regardless of this, she almost swears that he is the father of her baby girl, Robin. Mr. Benning, on the other hand, explains that he was so excited to hear that Miss Bodine was pregnant. This excitement was short-lived, however. The wildest thing happened so very quickly.
I was in the hospital sitting across from Kayla as she was pushing this baby out, and I received a text from a guy telling me to leave the hospital because that's his baby and he needs to be there.
What?
I am in labor, like literally in the hospital, and I received a text telling me that the child that I'm waiting to come isn't mine.
And so you get the text and you know who it's from.
Yes.
Oh my, what an experience. Funny enough, Miss Bodine got the other potential father tested and brought the results to the paternity court today. It reads that there is a 0% probability of paternity between Robin and the other man. Moving on, the following conversation ensues.
Quite a few. First off, the DNA test doesn't mean anything considering the fact that she's cheated on me with more than one person.
Oh.
There could be other guys out there, that's just one, you know?
Now, that's the plot twist.
As well as, Your Honor, anytime that something is wrong, I'm also reminded, oh, you're not her father, as soon as we start to argue.
Well, oh my word. Both Mr. Benning and Miss Bodine agree that Robin looks so much like Mr. Benning's late mother, and she just may be the woman brought back to life for him. Oh, who's going to tell them? Judge Lake's paternity court would be the judge of that.
Having to live with it every day.
Yeah, I had to change her diaper and look at her and play with her, and she's calling me daddy, and there's something in the back of my head saying she might not be. You know, there's a text message on my phone saying it's not yours. There's people calling me on my phone saying I'm her dad. You know, it's constant, it's just constant, and
well, this is why we get to prove it.
After a certain time, you can't just ignore it anymore.
Oh, please, Miss Bodine. We both know the results of what we're here to prove and that you and your actions are going to crush this man all over again. She says she is 100% certain that he is the father, but for some reason, Mr. Benning still does not trust it. What a hurt man. He adds that with all of this drama, he's deeply curious about his son's paternity as well.
Mr. Benning, you are not the father. I'm very sorry.
It doesn't matter, I'm still gonna be there. I'm the only one she calls daddy. You can't change it. We spent 2 years together, you can't change that.
You said earlier that if Robin was not your biological child, doubt whether or not you truly are the biological father of Jermaine Benning Jr.
What an awfully painful moment. Miss Bodine stands there shocked and not knowing what to do with herself at that moment. What a woman. On to the next, which is baby Jermaine Jr. Here are the doubts Mr. Benning has, from none other than Miss Bodine herself. Amazing woman, really.
The same thing with the, texting me, telling me I'm not the father. I even received a text telling me after he was born, which I still went through the whole labor, everything. After all that, I get a text telling me, oh, I want a paternity test for Jermaine, too.
And that was submitted to the court.
Yes, it was, sir.
There was a text to you, Mr. Benning, that says, I'm filing papers for a DNA test on Jermaine.
In addition to all of this, Mr. Benning was in the hospital for Jermaine Jr.'s birth. He has his first name and everything. How does a person send that sort of text message after letting him sit through all of that, sign his birth certificate, and take his first and last name? Results are out, and here is the verdict.
Mr. Benning, you are not the father.
What the?
Oh, I'm so sorry, Mr. Benning.
Cribs and playpens and toys, and I've done everything that I do, and...
Miss Bodine, do you know who Jermaine Jr.'s father is?
No, Your Honor. I didn't know that was gonna come out like that.
Mr. Mitchell has told Miss Lman that if the results of the paternity test prove he isn't the father, he will call off their engagement and there won't be a wedding. So the fate of this young family is hanging in a balance. Here's how it all went down.
We met when we were sophomores in high school. Junior year, we had a lot of classes together, so we became really good friends. And he started opening up to me and telling me, about his home life. Terrible background, and I wanted to help him and save him from that. My dad about it, and I was like, can we do something about it? They were like, yeah, we'll help him.
Turns out Miss Lman had a boyfriend at the time too. Mr. Mitchell moved into their house. They spent so much time together, and 2 months later, they hooked up. This happened multiple times too.
So tell me about what you came to love about Miss Lman.
I loved how she did stuff. I liked how she cared for me whenever I didn't have anybody that cared for me.
And she said you had a very tough childhood. Is that true, honey?
Yes, ma'am. I had to do everything for my family. I raised my 3 sisters and my brother basically by myself.
I understand. So when you moved in with Miss Lman, it was like finding a family, a real family.
Yes, Your Honor.
Looking back at her conceived date, there is a huge mess of whether or not baby London is from Miss Lman's ex or Mr. Mitchell is her biological father. After she went to the hospital, here's what the doctor told her about baby London and the date she was conceived.
And I asked, do you have an estimate of when I conceived, because I can't tell you the exact date. And she told me I conceived somewhere between October 12th and October 22nd. And I got to looking back at the dates, and I had sex with Mr. Mitchell more times than I had sex with my ex. I had sex with Mr. Mitchell about every day day and only once or twice with my ex.
All right.
I don't think that's how that works.
So you do understand that it is not a numbers game?
Yes, Your Honor.
What a funny thing to say. It's great that she cleared that up. Miss Lman goes on to claim that baby London's physical features are so similar to that of Mr. Mitchell so much. After all of the comparison and whatnot, we get the verdict, and the results are announced to the court.
Mr. Mitchell, you are not the father. Miss Lman, I can tell that was not the news you were expecting to hear.
No, Your Honor.
Are we certain? Is your ex London's biological father, or is there another possibility that we just have not spoken about yet?
No, Your Honor, there is no other possibility.
Get ready for an explosive session in paternity court, featuring one of the most heated cases to ever enter the courtroom. Over here, we have the intense dispute between Mr. Nelson and Ms. Thomas, where accusations fly and tempers flare, making this a battleground of wills and personal pride.
Ms. Nelson, you say you grew up believing one man was your father, yet had another man listed on your birth certificate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, after you turned 30 years old, a third man, the defendant, suddenly contacted you on Facebook claiming he was your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Today, you say you hope DNA test results will finally reveal the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're here with your daughter and say it was she who helped you find Miss Nelson.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Nelson marched into the courtroom burdened with years of uncertainty about her father's identity. She was told one story her entire life, only to have it turned upside down when Mr. Sterling appeared out of nowhere with a shocking claim that he was her real father. The air was electric as everyone waited for what would come out next.
You claim today you will reveal why another man's name is on Miss Nelson's birth certificate and prove to her you are indeed her father.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Nelson, please tell the court, how did you first hear about Mr. Sterling's claim?
Well, Your Honor, I grew up my whole life knowing a different man was my dad. It was a man that was in prison. My mother took me to visit him weekend after weekend, week after week, and this is the man I grew up knowing that he was my father.
From the moment Mr. Sterling took the stand, the story took a sharp turn. He wasn't there just to stir the pot. He came with bombshell revelations that he used a fake name online to hide his identity due to personal issues. He laid out his history with Miss Nelson's mother, talking about young love shattered by life's harsh realities. The courtroom was on edge, hanging on to his every word.
We met in high school. We had sex every day during the summer, every day.
Oh
my mother even caught her in the house. My mother walked in the door and I heard the key come in, but I had her mother hiding in the closet. So my mother didn't pay no attention. My mother walked by and then I forgot and left her clothes there, her shoes in the living room.
My God.
And my mother seen it and said, "Who you have in this house?" I said, "Nobody."
As if that wasn't enough, Mr. Sterling threw another curveball that sent ripples through the courtroom. He revealed he was actually the man listed as Vincent Preston Nelson on the birth certificate. Yes, that Vincent Nelson. The crowd gasped and whispers flew thick and fast as the reality of his statement sank in.
My question is, how can this be possible? Because there's the man in prison and there's Vincent Preston Nelson, and then you say you were at the hospital.
Because, ma'am, I am Vincent Preston Nelson.
Wait a minute. You are Vincent Preston Nelson.
Yes, ma'am, and I have evidence to prove to you right now today.
That is, in fact, you.
I was younger then. Excuse my hair, I didn't get a haircut back then.
This is you on this ID card.
Well, when I grew up, I never met my real father.
And now, the moment everyone had been anxiously awaiting was upon us. The unveiling of the DNA results. The courtroom was thick with anticipation, with accusations and revelations thrown from every direction. The final truth was just moments away from being revealed. Would Mr. Sterling really turn out to be Miss Nelson's biological father? Or was there another twist waiting in the shadows of this already convoluted family drama?
Mr. Sterling, you are her father. I commend you, Miss Nelson, for having the courage to go through every path you had to walk down, everywhere the stories led you. Now you know who you are and to
Exactly.
whom you belong.
Exactly.
I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Court is
so
adjourned.
much.
Today's courtroom drama brings us deep into the heart of a paternity dispute that blurs the lines between truth and perception. Here, we meet Ms. Murray and Mr. Lee, two figures entangled in a conflict over the paternity of 14-month-old Winter. This is a case marked by accusations, denial, and the quest for identity in a complicated past.
Ms. Murray, you are here today to get Mr. Lee to stop denying that he fathered your 14-month-old daughter, Winter. You demand he man up and own up to his responsibility after today's DNA test. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lee, you had a one-night stand with Ms. Murray before her pregnancy, but claimed she later confirmed she was not pregnant by you. You admit to one night, but state she had multiple men and there's no way you are her child's father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Murray stormed into the courtroom with a singular goal: to compel Mr. Lee to accept responsibility for Winter. Right from the start, the tension was palpable. Mr. Lee was adamant. He wasn't the father. He dismissed his brief encounter with Ms. Murray as a fleeting mistake, complicated further by her alleged relationships with other men. The stage was set for an intense showdown, as both parties braced for a fierce battle over the truth.
I'll start with you, Ms. Murray. Tell us why you opened your case today.
Well, basically, Your Honor, Mr. Lee is a deadbeat. He has not done anything for Winter.
That's ludicrous. I have 6 other kids.
Exactly.
And I am not the father of her baby. She wants this because she's trying to pin this baby on me because she know I'm a good guy and I'm a good father.
You're not a good anything. You're a deadbeat. You barely take care of them 6 kids that you got. So.
And Winter's 15 months, and you're saying that Mr. Lee hasn't done anything for?
He has not done nothing.
As Ms. Murray laid out her case, the atmosphere thickened. She described a decade-long acquaintance with Mr. Lee that turned intimate one fateful night. Mr. Lee countered every claim with sharp denials, declaring Ms. Murray as a schemer. As accusations flew and tempers flared, the courtroom buzzed with anticipation and dread.
So all of this because you're denying paternity, Mr. Lee?
Yes, I have multiple reasons on why. When she sent me the video of her taking the pregnancy test, she said, "So y'all won't think I'm lying?" And she peed on the stick and sent it to me. And I was like,
basically, I said, so nobody won't think that I'm lying about being pregnant. So that I was not trying to have any kids ever. So to get pregnant was a surprise. And this is your child.
And in your mind, because you said y'all, that means more than one person, AKA more than one father.
Yeah, and she's admitted that. So I don't even know how we here.
The tension hit a boiling point as they delved into the specifics of their encounters, the golden rule about condoms, the alleged setup by Ms. Murray, and the vehement denials by Mr. Lee. It was clear this was more than just a paternity test. It was a battle for truth amid a series of doubt and accusation.
I came over, and unfortunately, you know, I broke the golden rule.
You broke the what?
The golden rule.
The golden rule?
Yes.
What's the golden rule?
You never use the stripper's condom. Never.
It was not mine, Fabian. It was yours.
Oh, the golden rule is
Yeah.
you never use a condom that the stripper gives you.
Yeah, you bring your own, and I
Did
can't.
you know that rule, Jerome?
No, but it's good to
Nobody knows that rule but him. Nobody know that rule but him. He just made that up. Who helped you
Did
make that up?
anybody else out there know that rule?
Somebody help him make. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Now, the moment of truth was upon us. The courtroom held its breath as the DNA results were ready to be unveiled. Emotions ran high, the air thick with suspense. Could the DNA test cut through the web of accusations to reveal the father of little Winter? Or was there yet another revelation ready to shake the foundations of what everyone thought they knew?
Mr. Lee, you are the father.
Is that what your baby say?
It has been determined by this court that you made a baby with showbiz, so it's time for some lights, camera, and action.
That baby. Look at her. She's beautiful. She looks just like you, Fabian. Really? You really?
She's a beautiful little girl. She's 15 months old. She's missed out on 15 months with her daddy. That's your baby. And from the testimony, I understand that you have many children. But I know one thing, You don't have no business up in nobody's club giving nobody no tips. You need to tip these children.
Strap in for a courtroom drama about broken trust as familial bonds are put on trial. Yes, this is the famous case of Mitchell versus Dalton. Here, we find Mr. Mitchell grappling with doubt and seeking clarity on the paternity of 2 young children, Deshaun Jr. and Bishop, amid a crumbling marriage. The stakes are sky high, with custody and a man's peace of mind hanging in the balance.
Mr. Mitchell, you are petitioning the court for 2 DNA tests to determine if you are the father of your estranged wife's 2 children, 2-year-old Deshaun Jr. and 1-year-old Bishop. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
You currently have custody of the 2 boys, so the stakes of today's results couldn't be higher.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dalton, you admit you cheated on your husband, and today you're here hoping to salvage what's left of your marriage. Is that correct? Mr. Mitchell, so you have custody. Today's results obviously mean a lot to you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mitchell comes forward, custody papers in hand, bearing the weight of a father's love and the sting of betrayal. He recounts the turmoil of the past months. His wife, Ms. Dalton, has left the family home multiple times, her infidelity leaving scars too deep to hide. The courtroom's atmosphere is electric with anticipation and empathy as he speaks of his struggles and the emotional toll of raising 2 boys amid uncertainty.
She done put us through hell and back. She just don't care, Your Honor. So I just want to know the paternity of my kids just for my sake, Your Honor, because
And it hurts you because you truly don't know.
I really don't, Your Honor. And like I said, she's running back and forth and she's cheating and this and that, Your Honor. If she wants a divorce, Your Honor, I got these divorce papers. We could go ahead and divorce it and keep it moving. She could keep it moving, I could keep it moving and continue to go with my kids, Your Honor, like I've been doing the last 8 or 9 months, Your Honor.
You say your family is destroyed because you're saying she's in and out of the home and you have the boys.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Dalton admits to her transgressions, but contests the sympathetic story he is building. She argues that their marriage was full of neglect on both sides, and that her departures were acts of desperation, not abandonment. The tension rises as she tries to explain her side, her voice a mix of regret and defiance.
The last altercation that we had when we were gone for the 7 months, that's when that happened. I couldn't deal with it.
When there was an issue,
yes, I did.
You admit you left.
Yes, Your Honor.
But did you run into the arms of another man
No,
when
Your
you
Honor.
left? You didn't?
Yes,
No,
you did,
Your Honor.
Yes, you
I was living with my sister.
So
Your
during
Honor.
the time,
with a man
during
that
the
was sitting
time
over there
you
with her
all were
every day.
together, you were in your relationship, did you sleep with another man?
In the beginning, yes. But since we've been married, no.
She was just with another man, Your Honor, so we're still married. I don't
And
know.
we were separated, and we both agreed on the separation.
Yeah.
We weren't together. We were going to move on with
I
our
don't talk
lives.
to her, so I
We
don't
were
know
going to
how we
move on
agreed
with our
the
lives with
separation.
divorce.
I never talked to her.
As accusations fly and defenses are mounted, the children's future remains uncertain. Mr. Mitchell's voice breaks as he discusses the possibility of raising children who may not be his own. The air is thick with suspense as both parents lay bare their pain under the watchful eye of Judge Lake, who navigates their testimonies with a steady hand.
You with the 2 boys.
Yes, ma'am.
And you don't even know if they're your biological children.
Yes, ma'am.
What is your doubt based on, specifically, for each child? So let's start with Deshaun.
When I met her off of Facebook, Your Honor. She was already staying with another guy, Your Honor. I didn't know at the time. I happened to end up finding out once we was over my sister's house. And, you know, some guy calls her phone, Your Honor. It's her cousin. That's what she says. It's my cousin, you know. So when I said, okay, well, we'll call your cousin back, because the way she was talking to her demeanor, it seemed funny. And like I said, I'm much older than her. So like I said, I done been there and done that, you know, trying to run these little game on.
The moment of truth approaches, and the courtroom braces for the impact. DNA results are ready to reveal the biological father of the children. Could this be the closure Mr. Mitchell seeks? Or will it open new wounds? Will the tests mend a family or mark the end of Mr. Mitchell's hopes? Let's find out.
Mr. Mitchell, you are Bishop's father. Mr. Mitchell, you are Deshaun's father. I can see that smile is genuine. You're happy to know.
Yes, Your Honor, I am, and I appreciate it, Your Honor. It's just all the lies and stuff she put me through, Your Honor, and I'm gonna try to put this behind. If she really wants to go to counseling and really wants to try to make it work, I'm willing to do that, Your Honor.
Where do you want to go from here?
I wanted to work on our marriage. I'm the one who suggested counseling.
This episode of Paternity Court promises another complex dispute over paternity involving Mr. Jones and Ms. Milan. With a child's future hanging in the balance, the courtroom is tense. Both parties stand ready to confront their shared past, marked by intimacy, deceit, and doubts. This drama brims with emotional upheavals and legal confrontations, promising revelations that could shake the very foundations of a makeshift family.
Mr. Jones, you and your mother are co-plaintiffs who have brought the defendant, Ms. Milan, to court to prove her 3-month-old son, Quanil Jr., is not your biological child.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you took Ms. Milan and her other 6 kids into your home, and now she's trying to take you for a ride by claiming this baby is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you say when today's DNA results prove you are not the father, you are seeking $1,500 for housing and child care expenses.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jones, along with his staunchly supportive mother, stands firm in his claim. He is challenging the paternity of 3-month-old Quanil Jr., asserting that Ms. Milan has manipulated him into a fatherly role for her extensive brood. Mr. Jones is not just contesting paternity, he's also seeking recompense to the tune of $500 for housing and childcare expenses. His voice, filled with a mix of frustration and betrayal, resonates through the courtroom as he details the sacrifices he has made.
Talk to her about me or whatever like that.
And then how'd this relationship begin?
When I first, moved home with my mom, I noticed him. She was like, this Mr. Jones, he lived next door. We started, just on a friendly note, hey, how you doing? We'll sit out, we'll talk, laugh, joke. I go back in, tend to my kids. Eventually he started I could tell it was a little more flirting going on. He'd be like, why don't you come watch a movie sometime? Or, I wasn't taking him very seriously because it is an age difference between me and Mr. Jones.
So why were you entertaining this?
We started off, we were just friends. I'll go outside, smoke, he'll play with the boys.
Across the aisle, Ms. Milan, the defendant in this emotional litigation, admits to her infidelity, but she fiercely maintains that Mr. Jones is the biological father of her youngest child. Her testimony is a narrative of need and desperation, against the backdrop of her other 6 children's faces, each a silent witness to the unfolding drama. She pleads her case to clear her name and cement the paternal bond she insists exists between Mr. Jones and her infant son.
It was so much going on at that time. That's when I got so upset when I seen the text. I hadn't even been thinking about the ex. She had been out the picture this time for a sec. The ex always superior.
So now when you're living with Miss Jones, the baby's born or you're pregnant?
No, this is before the baby's even conceived.
Even before conception.
Or maybe why. Conception could have happened then.
Mr. Jones, you took your one girlfriend and her kids, moved them into your mother's house, and then went with your ex.
Yes, pretty much. That's what he did.
Yes, Your Honor. Like you said, I'm young. It's a big age difference. I started getting a little...
The atmosphere is electric as each testimony adds layers to the story. Mr. Jones describes how he welcomed Ms. Milan and her children into his home, providing shelter and stability when they were most vulnerable. His mother, with protectiveness flashing in her eyes, corroborates his story. She claims that her son is a victim of Ms. Milan's deceit. She recalls the heartbreak and helplessness in her son's eyes at the hospital post-birth.
And by him leaving, I was like, okay, why am I doing this and you're not even here? And my reason for doing it was for you.
Yeah.
Right, and so you say she's trying to trap your son.
I felt like she was trying to trap my son because she stopped taking her birth control. She said it was making her sick, but she should have started another birth control instead of stopping it altogether.
What would be her motive to trap your son?
She want to be with him.
She wants to have him in her life. Is that true, Ms. Milan? No. Why'd you stop taking birth control?
I was sick. It was just making me sick.
And so how did you find out she was pregnant?
She called and told me.
Through tears and defiant glares, Ms. Milan speaks of her past struggles with health and housing. Her voice trembles as she details the complexity of relationships and decisions that led her to Mr. Jones's doorstep. She speaks of the initial platonic friendship that blossomed unexpectedly into more, emphasizing her vulnerability and the solace she found in Mr. Jones's presence around her children.
I was around him at the time. I was feeling sick and I was like, I knew I hadn't been out there that long also, but I did did go to the store and get a pregnancy test, and it came out positive. I ended up telling Mr. Jones also. And, you know, he did his talking or whatever, but he ended up texting and was like, okay, regardless of what, you know, if that's my child, I do want to be around. Let me know when you go to the doctor.
So you were there participating like the father. Did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I told him not to.
I didn't sign anything because I wanted the DNA test first.
Well, that was smart.
Yeah, my son cried, Judge.
As the testimonies wind down, the courtroom braces for the climactic unveiling of the DNA results. The judge calls for decorum as she prepares to dissolve the clouds of doubt hanging over the courtroom. Mr. Jones's face is masked with fear, ready to brace a verdict that could either free him from unwanted obligations or anchor him deeper into the role of a father.
He cried. He literally broke down at this hospital. He literally cried and broke down because he was going to be devastated, and I felt his pain. I mean, I could literally feel his pain. That's why I contacted the court to help her, because I wanted him to be sure.
And when you say he isn't sure, can you explain to me what the doubt is exactly?
My brother passed in July the 16th of last year. And during that time is around the time that she got pregnant. And she came to give her condolences and everything, but she came with another man.
I drove.
And on another occasion,
I was driving.
I'm at a friend's house playing dominoes. It's a guy come to that house. It's like a different street.
The results are in, and the courtroom holds its collective breath. Will this makeshift family be mended, or will it get turned upside down? Only the judge's final word will tell.
Mr. Jones, you are not the father. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm like.
You okay, Mr. Jones?
I'm ready to go.
I'm sorry. I hope you will find comfort in knowing that you did the right thing. You may have gotten wrong or right in the relationship with Miss Milan. You did right by this beautiful baby. As for your suit, Ms. Jones, for $1,500 for the room and board, and for all of the expenses related to the child.
As far as mom's feeling entitled goes, this has to be the most entitled mom on planet Earth. Ms. Rogers admitted in the courtroom that she had an affair outside of her marriage, and there is now a possibility that her child could have another man as the father instead of her husband. The messy situation began like this.
Mrs. Rogers, you admit you had an affair, and it is possible that another man besides your husband fathered your child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, Mr. Rogers is here along with your mother-in-law seeking the results.
Well, Your Honor, me and my husband, we had a rough patch in our relationship. He wasn't really showing me any affection. He never really paid any attention to me.
It seems like their marriage was not a happy ever after kind of situation. Why then did they get married if they didn't love each other? While Ms. Rogers was explaining the situation that led to her having an affair out of her marriage, her husband's mom stormed in and called her a liar. Trust me, she was ready to fight.
I wandered off with a guy, and she wandered off with a guy, and I remember we slept together, and I remember falling asleep, and...
Well, Your Honor.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, he come to visit me because he come for a funeral. She could have come. Her reason for not coming is because we don't like her.
Well, Your
But
Honor.
does she think going out and sleeping with somebody while he's at a funeral is going to make me like her?
Right, so...
I mean...
Can these two speak without having to yell at each other and call themselves names? Jeez. Out of the blue, Mr. Rogers' mom yells like a crazy woman, telling the judge that Mrs. Rogers got pregnant and had no idea who the father of her child is. She wasn't just accusing her.
She makes him sign this birth certificate even though she don't even know if it's his or not.
I didn't make him do anything.
Mom, you have this birth certificate. This is your son's signature. Jerome, will you please hand that to me, please? So, you had the baby, Ms. Rogers, and you weren't certain who the father was.
No, ma'am.
However, you had him sign the birth certificate, or you asked him to.
He signed the birth certificate on his own
You
free
did
will.
it voluntarily, Mr. Rogers?
She had proof to back it up. Deep down in his mind, he had doubts about the baby, but still decided to sign the birth certificate. I guess he was hoping the child was his at the time. Trying to dig out the truth, Judge Lauren asked Mr. Rogers to explain to the court what happened when his wife told him he might not be the father of the baby. He replied, saying this.
How it really all started is when she came out and said it, it just kind of rocked my entire world. Like, I didn't really know what to think. I walked out. I I stayed gone for a little bit. I came back because I love her, because I wanted to be with her. Right then there was no evidence that he was mine or wasn't mine or anything. Now, He's older. He's over a year old now.
Poor little Mr. Rogers. I mean, you can only feel sad for him. All he wanted was to have a beautiful family, and his wife, Mrs. Rogers, decided to mess everything up. After his side of the story, Mrs. Rogers gets emotional and tells the judge that all she wants is to be his loving wife. But Mr. Rogers says that he doesn't believe her one bit.
I want to feel like his wife.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's true.
You say you don't feel like that's true, Mr. Rogers?
I mean, I don't.
Tell me what you feel.
I feel like the first part of our relationship, I mean, I was distant, but I did everything for her. I do everything now. She doesn't have to lift her finger throughout the day. I work, I come home, clean, cook, do whatever. I've been the sole proprietor.
Mr. Rogers' mom does not hesitate to express her dislike for her son's wife at any opportunity she gets. And trust me, it was about to get worse. Now, Ms. Rogers, the mom, was making a fuss about how disrespectful Mrs. Rogers was to her son. And before she was able to complete her rant, his wife gave her piece of her mind.
His family, that's respect to him. She should have been there respecting him, been there for him.
Why would I want to be around people who don't want anything to do with me, who sit there and yell in my face about how his ex-girlfriend is so much better than me?
She would have
At this point, it's safe to say that the wife and the mother-in-law are never going to have a soft spot for each other. Judge Lauren had heard enough from Mrs. Rogers and Mr. Rogers' mom, and she felt it was high time she asked him what he felt the problem was and why his mom and wife could not get along.
Your wife. I'll tell you what the issue is. I think it's just disrespectful. I
asked your son to tell me what he thinks the issue is.
I think it's when we first got together, there was a lot of things said about her doing things and the fact I had a baby with my ex and she's just, gone because me and her got together.
She is one furious woman, geez. Anyway, let's bring their drama to a close. Their yelling was starting to get out of hand, and Judge Lauren felt it was time to reveal the results of the DNA test. Her verdict went like this.
Mr. Rogers, you are his father.
Oh, God.
I'm sorry for everything I did.
Can all wrongs really be made right? I guess we're about to find out in this case. Ms. Davis appeared in court with the hopes of making amends for mistakes she made while she was much younger. When her child was born, there were 4 possible fathers, and now she hopes to find out who the real father is. She began her case like this.
Ms. Davis, you're in court today hoping to right your wrongs. When your 2-year-old son, Javion, was born, he had 4 possible fathers.
I mean, Your Honor, as a child, I had a very bad childhood. I went through 13 different foster homes. I've been to 4 different group homes.
The first step to fixing a wrong is admitting the wrong, and Ms. Davis did just that. But trust me, it wasn't easy. Allowing Ms. Davis to get herself together, she turned to the defendant, Mr. Smith, and asked him why he had doubts about being the father, even though he admitted to being in a relationship with Ms. Davis.
Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, why are you doubtful that you potentially could be Javion's father?
Because she said I wasn't, Your Honor.
She told you you weren't.
Yes. I asked if I could be the father, and she told me no, Your Honor.
Now, Ms. Davis, we said that there were 4 potential fathers.
Yes, Your Honor.
That calendar shows Ms. Davis having fun with quite a number of men. One thing they both agreed on was that they were not in a relationship. They claimed it was a fling, and after the fling, they both went their separate ways. Mr. Smith claimed she changed her number, and Ms. Davis claimed she kicked in bed with her ex after they met.
No, Your Honor. It was just a fling or, a holiday fling,
It was a holiday fling.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when she went home, did you try to stay in touch with her?
No, I think she changed her number on me, Your Honor.
Oh, really?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, well, explain. So you get back home and you go back to your ex?
After that week with Mr. Smith, yeah, I did go back to my ex. It wasn't...
Oh, wow. I guess we know why they never saw each other after that. Judge Lauren asked Ms. Davis about the last man who Ms. Davis felt could be a potential father. And the answer she gave was nothing short of breathtaking. Take a look.
And then 2 days later, potential father number 4. Who is that?
Potential father number 4, Your Honor. He was a one-night stand. I don't remember his name.
You don't even remember his name. Do you know where he is?
No, Your Honor.
And now, after having this experience that you voluntarily participated in, you're not feeling too good about yourself.
There's no lie there. Ms. Davis has to do better, or she might end up in a paternity court again for the same reason. Now, she finds out she's pregnant, and it becomes a a hassle to determine who the possible father could be. This was how she explained the situation to Judge Lauren.
Pregnant, I was just randomly thinking to myself that, I haven't had my period in almost 2 months. I had told my then boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend, the then boyfriend I was with, I had actually told him, there's a very good chance that this baby I'm pregnant with is not your baby.
So, and that's the man that's in green.
Yes, Your Honor.
The boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend.
Moving on, after realizing that 2 of the possible fathers were now out of the picture, all she was left with was Mr. Smith and the guy she claimed she had a one-night stand with, but had no memory of his name. The big question now is how certain she is that Mr. Smith is actually the father of her baby.
The then boyfriend I was with, I had actually told him, there's a very good chance that this baby I'm pregnant with is not your baby.
So, and that's the man that's in green.
Yes, Your Honor.
The boyfriend, now ex-boyfriend.
Yes, Your
He
Honor.
said it's not mine.
I actually got number 1 and number 3 both tested, and they both came back negative.
Mr. Smith wasn't going to let her ride him under the bus without a fight. He might be a mama's boy, but he sure knows how to speak up when he has to. Mr. Smith told the judge that the baby looked nothing like him, and after she told him he wasn't the father, he wasn't going to accept a baby without getting tested.
You slept with her for a week or more, right during the window of conception. So you have to acknowledge that, right?
Yes, Your Honor. But I still feel like he doesn't look like me or favor me whatsoever, Your Honor.
Have you met Javion?
Yes, I only met him once, Your Honor. I felt kind of scared, Your Honor, because I felt like he didn't know me and I felt like a total stranger, Your Honor.
Your Honor, why doesn't he know you? If you've told me yourself, because you said you felt it in your heart that he might be yours, why didn't you step up then?
Could he be right? Could she be trying to pin the baby on him because the other guys aren't the fathers? Who knows? What was even crazier was the fact that Mr. Smith knew there was a chance he could be a father, and he refused to try to find out if he was actually the father. This was the excuse he gave.
It's because we live in different two cities and I don't drive, Your Honor.
Okay, so you had transportation issues. 2 different cities or 2 different states?
2 different cities.
Well, don't some buses run in between the 2 cities?
Yes, but they cost a lot, Your Honor.
So, for a year and a half, you've known you may have a son, but you have not made your way to go see him? Except one time?
Yes, Your Honor.
I very much doubt these guys are going to get their case settled with all the yelling that's going on in the courtroom. The DNA results were in, and Judge Lauren was ready to reveal the identity of the father. Fingers crossed, people.
Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
I'm like so hurt, Your Honor.
You look crushed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can see that in your eyes. Because even though you consistently said, I doubt it, there's a disappointment that I see in your face.
In this episode of Paternity Court, Mr. Kirk was in the courtroom to defend himself against the defendant, who initially told him that he was not the father of her child, but for some reason is now changing her story. He claimed all they had was a fling, which resulted in her getting pregnant. The case began like this.
You claim you had a fling with Ms. Antoine and she became pregnant.
Correct.
Now, when you confronted her about her pregnancy, you say she told you that you were not the father of her baby.
When I confronted her, Your Honor, she told me that there was no possibility that she was pregnant, or if she was, that the baby would even be mine. So of course I believed it, going off to college to go on and do my other thing.
Hold on, did he just say she was going to sleep with his brother? That's one hell of an accusation. Now the defendant, Ms. Antoine, told the judge that from the get-go, she believed they were in a relationship because they were always together every moment of the day. But Mr. Kirk remembered things differently.
Me and him started talking. He stated to me that supposedly that we were just flinging around. Now,
Yes, Your Honor.
from what I was told, I told him straight up, I don't know about this whole fling thing. From what we built,
Your Honor, that's a
we
lie.
were messing around like every day, 24/7, every night. It was like there was no time to cheat for no one.
So you felt like this was the makings of a relationship,
Yes.
a committed relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
I wasn't expecting him to say that. Ms. Antwine definitely disagrees with him on that one. She went on to tell the judge that he slept with her best friend and another friend she spoke to every day. What baffled her the most was that she was always with him and couldn't understand how he had the time to be with other women.
And he's acknowledging, yes, he did that.
Yeah, he
Yes,
did that.
I admit I did it.
Ms. Antoine, you felt like you all were together so much there was no time to cheat, and yet
I don't
he
even
had
know how
time
he
to
found
cheat.
time. I don't even know how he did.
Well, do you feel like if he made time, he maybe feels like you made time as well?
He might feel that way because, I mean,
Yes.
of course he's a cheater.
From that revelation, let's just say they were not ready to be committed to each other. When the baby was born, Mr. Kirk claimed that the moment he saw the baby on her Facebook page, he couldn't see any resemblance that would make him a possible father to the child.
My mom ended up telling me, look on Facebook, there's a picture of Shay's baby. So I looked up on there, and truly I didn't see any kind of connection between me or him. You know, I mean, yeah.
Why, because my baby has green eyes?
Yeah, because he has green
eyes.
My
dad has green eyes, thank you.
All right, well, you know what, I didn't know that, all right?
I told you that.
You know what?
I told you that.
You didn't tell me that.
Yes, I did.
You didn't tell me
I even have
that.
a picture of my dad. What do you mean? I told you that.
That sounds like a fat-ass lie. If he wanted to be in the baby's life, he would have reached out and not get married to someone else. Anyway, after arguing and beating around the bush, Mr. Kirk changed his story and told Ms. Antwine in the courtroom that if he ends up being the father, he is going to step up and take responsibility.
Told you. And what did you do? You went and built another family. Did I build anything? I had to raise my son 3 years by myself. Did you help build anything with me?
You know what? No. You know what? Look.
No.
Look,
I don't want to.
Miss Antwine, you know, I need to ask you. You are taking into account he went on with his life because he didn't know you were pregnant. His actions in terms of moving on, going to college, and
you don't need me to tell you that Ms. Antwine doesn't believe a word he said with that death stare. Listening to both of their rants didn't help the situation, so Judge Lauren decided to speak with Mr. Kirk's wife over a video call. This is what she had to say about the situation.
No, not when I met him, no.
How soon after your relationship began did he make you aware of that?
I would have to say it was 5 months when I was pregnant with my daughter.
And he told you then?
Yeah, and that's when he told me. He told me he didn't know if he was the father of that child.
Do you have any evidence to the contrary? Do you know anything about Miss Antwine that would suggest that this child was not your husband?
Wow, so he kept it a secret from his wife? Now, that is all shades of wrong. Trying to save his ass from the guilty stare Judge Lauren was giving him, he decided to try to paint Ms. Antwine as the villain in his story. As you would expect, she was not going to have that, and she went on to drop this truth bomb.
Let's refer to people respectfully.
You was in the same place I was.
All right, yes. You know what? So it was just both some little project. But
okay,
anyway, so look, from what my dad was telling me, he was like, look, you need to get a test up on the child because I think that she's just trying to catch you up because she sees the potential in you to be able to become better. Yes, potential. Potential.
He doesn't even deny it. Jeez. To make things even worse, Ms. Antwine had evidence to prove that even though he was married, he was still sending her messages indicating that he still wanted to be with her.
It's all true. You ain't even got to read it. I could tell you myself, Your Honor.
Well, I'll let you know if I have to read it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I can see me being in love with you. I saw it, but then I was young and didn't know how to deal with it. I see you as the woman you are, and I'm falling more in love with it every day.
Are you serious, Eric?
Yeah, I thought that.
Serious.
It doesn't look like Mr. Kirk will have a family to go back to after this case. Well, it's time we revealed the DNA results and ended their paternity drama. Let's see if Ms. Antwine has been the truthful one all this while.
Mr. Kirk, you are the father.
Thank you. Thank you. Since I'm a project girl, thank you, Your Honor, so much. Thank you for all your help, because I've been through too much with this, not even, this little boy all these years.
4 years?
Yeah.
Here, Ms. Taylor wasn't in the courtroom to joke around. She claimed that the defendant swept her off her fit and got her pregnant. Since she had her baby, he hasn't done a single thing in the upbringing of the child. And she has had just enough of his dubious ways. She opened her case to the judge like this.
Ms. Taylor, you say Mr. Brown is an older man who swept you off your feet and got you pregnant. You're here today to prove to Mr. Brown that he is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, Melanie Brown.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Taylor, you're also suing Mr. Brown for $2,256 in child care expenses.
I haven't did nothing for her. All he did was buy her 2 packs of cheap diapers.
That reply doesn't sound like it came from someone who wants to be the father of any child. The judge then asked Ms. Taylor if she had ever made any moves to try to get the defendant, Mr. Brown, involved in the child's life. She replied that she did, but he was never forthcoming.
Yes, Your Honor. Every time I call him, he say, that ain't my baby. You need to go find your baby daddy and stop calling me.
Well, actually, she didn't know that I had a condom on.
He didn't use the condom, Your Honor.
Bottom line is, you say no protection was used. You say you did.
Yes.
Now, how did you guys even meet?
I met him at the club. It was right after my 18th birthday, and I went to the club, and I was drinking and dancing with my friends, and he came up to me and was like, "You're beautiful."
Wow. That's one wild age gap. What was she thinking, messing with a guy who was 2 times older than she was? Apparently, this was not a relationship kind of setting. As they both told the judge, it was a booty call.
for an extended play booty call?
It was just a booty call.
What was this?
This is a booty call.
It was just a booty call.
32-year-old man with an 18-year-old girl.
Well, yeah. Well, actually, I was 31 then.
So, Ms. Taylor, were you interested in him? Were you interested in him being your boyfriend? Were you interested in
I felt like, Your Honor, only reason I went back to his place because I felt like we would be more than what it came out to be.
At this point, let's just say she was looking for both a sugar daddy and a father for her baby, and Mr. Brown was the wrong candidate for that equation. The moment Ms. Taylor found out she was pregnant, she reached out and told him about the baby. As you would expect, he denied the baby, saying this.
Every time she said yes, she's still pregnant.
Right. And then,
obviously she was. At this point, what reaction did you get from him? Was he happy?
He said, we only had 3 times. I will calm down, my baby. You need to go
so
find your baby daddy.
So he immediately denied the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because Mr. Brown,
okay, she needs to find her baby daddy.
You are my baby daddy.
I started doing some research on her, and I found some colored pictures of her.
I'm siding with the judge on that one. That's now how things get done. But it was a booty call, so I guess there was no time to do any research. Here's where things get really crazy. Judge Lman asks Mr. Brown how many other children he had, and he says 5. Ms. Taylor just had to pick the worst man to sleep with.
And then you go outside, you tell her I'm going out to smoke, and you never come back.
Because my other baby, as soon as I held the baby, I felt a bond.
So you are a father?
Yes.
How many other children do you have? Okay. Did you put him on the birth certificate?
Yes.
You put his name down?
Yes.
You have a copy of that birth certificate?
I never put my name on there. I didn't know my name was even on there.
Moving on, Judge Lauren was very disappointed in the choices Ms. Taylor had made. She couldn't understand why she wanted to be with a man who never wanted anything from her other than sex. With so much anger, Judge Lauren decided to give her a scolding session, and it started like this.
Man that doesn't want them and then acts surprised that he don't want the baby.
Okay.
Come on, Miss Taylor. He never wanted to be your boyfriend, your husband.
And I kind of know that
I didn't try to get pregnant, Your Honor.
Listen, failure to protect yourself leaves the door open for the exact situation you are in today. You must learn this lesson.
Let's hope that sticks in her head. Mr. Brown claimed he had a witness who could back up his claim that Ms. Taylor was sleeping around with other men. When the judge asked the witness to come in, it was none other than Mr. Brown's brother.
When everything took place?
No. No, I was there at the club.
Okay, the night they met.
Yes, ma'am.
You were there.
Yes, ma'am.
And what did you observe and what do you have to add?
But a couple of days after we had left the club, I'm walking out my apartment complex to go get something to eat. And as I'm walking out, I see Mercedes walking in. And she walking in with a couple of my homeboys from the same apartment complex.
Well, there's only one way out of this mess. Nobody is willing to tell the judge the truth. And one thing we all know is that the results will never lie. Fingers locked in because here come the DNA results.
Mr. Brown, you are the father.
I told you. Can I have that paper, Your Honor?
Well, now I can hold her again.
That is so sad. That is so sad.
But I'll do something now.
In a whirlwind of grief and accusation, Ms. Hooker and her mother stand firm in paternity court, asserting that Ms. Baker's deceased son, Mr. Abraham, is the father of Ms. Hooker's daughter, Kenia. Despite the tragedy, they seek not just recognition, but an apology from the Baker family, who strongly deny the claims. Can you imagine that?
Ms. Hooker, you are here with your mother because you say the defendant's son, Mr. Abraham, fathered your 10-month-old daughter, Kenia, and to prove her son is the father. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Baker, you and your daughter are here today to represent your son, Mr. Abraham, because tragically, he was killed 3 months after the birth of this child.
Ms. Hooker, wrapped in sorrow and defiance, expresses her indifference to the opinions surrounding her child's paternity. Her emotional turmoil is palpable as she details the alienation and judgment she faces, painting a vivid picture of a woman on the edge. It's a heart-wrenching scene.
I'm just sad sometimes. I try to deal with it now. Like, I really don't care no more. Like, that's how I feel. I don't care anymore. I don't care who feel nothing about my baby. I don't care. It just seemed like everybody else looking upside my head like I'm an animal or something. Like, every time I'm sitting down doing something, they looking at me like I'm the outcast of the group. She looked like me, so why is a problem? That's why I decided I don't care about nothing. 6th grade year, we was best friends, and then we started talking, then we stopped talking, and then we started going together.
The court hears Ms. Baker recount her son's doubts about his paternity, shared in his final days. This revelation stirs a mix of sympathy and skepticism, adding layers to the narrative as each side grapples with their pain. Ms. Baker seeks to clear her son's name, while Ms. Hooker fights to establish his responsibility. Oh, the drama.
Kania's biological father.
My son was on vacation, and we kept hearing that Denia was pregnant, but then when we finally found out for sure, he told me, he said he wasn't the only boy that had messed with Denia. And he made me promise that we was gonna get a blood test, and the way we thought they were gonna go, and now we're here.
Well, I'm so very sorry for your loss, let me say that.
Tensions rise as allegations of other potential fathers are mentioned, challenging Ms. Hooker's claims. She laughs off these accusations, her laughter tinged with pain, defending her fidelity. The courtroom turns into a battleground of conflicting stories and raw emotions, each party clinging desperately to their version of the truth. Phew, that's just a mess.
He was supposedly sleeping with Denia.
Miss Hooker, I have to ask you, was there another guy?
No, cause that's why it's funny, because how can somebody tell me who I was sleeping with? Nobody in the room was in the room with me when I was sleeping with somebody. What do I have to lie for?
Keyshawn told us that he wanted the blood test. The only way, Keyshawn only denied the baby when him and my daughter was arguing. Other than that, I have pictures with him laying on her stomach.
In a touching moment, Ms. Hooker reveals that despite the disputes, Mr. Abraham had moments of connection with Kania, complicating the family's narrative of denial. The skepticism from Ms. Baker and the broader family leaves Ms. Hooker feeling vilified and ostracized. A truly sad affair.
Like I told him, you played grown, now it's time to be grown. Because if it's your baby, you not finna run and you not finna leave the whole bag on her.
Him or my family are not those kind of people to do that.
Oh, you can't go. Don't go there, Miss Blanche. Don't go there, Miss Blanche. Don't go there, because you know the truth is we're all here to talk, honey.
As the hearing nears its climax, the courtroom is electric with anticipation and dread. Ms. Baker and Ms. Hooker, wrapped in a haze of grief and conflict, await the DNA test results. This moment, heavy with potential for healing or further heartache, holds the power to unite or irreversibly divide the families. Who's ready for the verdict?
Kenia did get left out. So did my grandmother, and so did one of my sisters. Okay. It wasn't just the baby. We weren't together. Nobody was thinking right at that time. We weren't with none of us together. She went ahead to try to call herself helping me, and she was going ahead of me to finish it up, and all three of these people got left out, so it wasn't just Kenia.
In a final, desperate plea for clarity and peace, both sides articulate their fears and hopes. Their voices echo the profound impact of the case on their lives. As they stand on the precipice of a verdict, the courtroom holds its breath, ready for the revelation that will either mend or permanently scar their bonds.
Kenia.
Yes, they will.
They don't have to.
I already you know what I said, I already judged. Since she got left out the obituary, I have already told them, if it comes back saying Kenia belongs to Keyshawn, I'm going directly back to the funeral home and get a set of obituaries made, so when this baby grow up and she read her dad's obituary, there's her name.
With the courtroom wrapped in tense silence, the judge prepares to unveil the truth that could bridge the chasm of grief or confirm the fears haunting both families. As they brace for the decision, the weight of the impending verdict is palpable, a reminder of our deep human need for closure and truth. What will the DNA results reveal? Stay tuned.
The percentage of relatedness between Ms. Baker, Mr. Abraham, and Kenia Abraham is 0%.
This is why right here.
Ms. Baker, are you all right? Do you need to sit down? Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
They weren't gonna tell me sorry, so I'm not telling them nothing.
Do you need to sit down, ma'am?
Nobody did anything to you, honey.
I don't care.
Nobody
do nothing to me, but I don't like you.
That's
I don't like
you.
Caught in a whirlwind of accusations and denial, today's courtroom drama unfolds with Miss Miller staunchly asserting that Mr. Rasmussen is not the father of 3-year-old Xylee. Despite his unwavering commitment, driving over 100 miles each way to see her, the specter of doubt hangs heavy in the air. Oof, things are about to get ugly.
This is the case of Miller versus Rasmussen.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Ms. Miller, you're here to prove to your ex-boyfriend, Scotty Rasmussen, that he is not the father of your 3-year-old daughter, Xylee Rasmussen.
Yes, Your Honor.
You claim you've been in an ongoing court battle over custody and have petitioned the court several times for a DNA test, all of which have been denied.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Miller is adamant, her words sharp with conviction, claiming their broken relationship and Mr. Rasmussen's past infidelity are at the heart of this paternity dispute. But there's more. She suspects the real motive behind his dedication is less about love and more about tax benefits. Can you believe that?
She hates me because at the end of the relationship, when things got rocky, I'll admit it, I did go to another woman. I'll be the first to admit that. You know, it was my mistake.
Is that true, Ms. Miller?
No.
It's not?
No.
Tell me
not
what you believe to be true in this situation.
Yes,
I was very mad at him for being a cheater. He cheated on me through pretty much our whole relationship. No, I do not hate him because of that. I lost my respect for him, yes.
As Mr. Rasmussen counters, detailing his exhaustive efforts and financial support, it's clear this is no mere legal formality. He's fighting not just for rights, but for recognition. Every mile he drives, every dollar he spends, screams of a father's love denied by technicalities and unresolved past wounds.
I want my visitation because my daughter means the world to me. I want to be in her life as much as I possibly can.
I mean, if he's driving 160 miles each way every other weekend, the money he would get in his taxes, he's spending in gas.
I'm paying my child support. I have my child support payments right here, plus an additional $3 fee, plus an additional $60 annual fee just to pay my child support.
The plot thickens as Ms. Miller drops a bombshell. She insists Zaley was conceived while Mr. Rasmussen was miles away, lost in the lights of Vegas. The court is left reeling as she details her brief affair during his absence. The timeline is murky, the details sordid, and the implications profound.
When she was conceived in March of 2011. He wasn't even in the same state. He was in Vegas. And at that time in March, I wasn't even with him. I was with somebody else because he broke up with me because he cheated on me.
I'll be the first to admit it was a mistake.
Amidst the legal jargon and piercing stares, Mr. Rasmussen's emotional plea cuts through the courtroom noise. His voice breaks, recounting the snowy drive to the hospital, the birth he witnessed, the life he's built around a daughter he might lose. It's a heart-wrenching narrative of paternal love, clashing with harsh realities.
5 or 6 months or so, give or take, after she was born, we were at family court talking to the family court commissioner about custody and the things that go along with that, like where she'd be going to school, her doctor, and all that. And Miss Miller brings it up that I could possibly not be the father because of another man that was involved, and she gave some date, I can't remember the specifics.
As Judge Lake probes deeper, the truth becomes as convoluted as the emotions on display. Ms. Miller's reluctance to grant visitation seems intertwined with deep-seated resentment and a haunting doubt about Zaley's paternity. The courtroom holds its breath as familial bonds hang by a thread.
I'm not even quite sure. After we broke up, he changed his number, he moved, he pretty much disappeared. I have tried to find him, I have tried to get a hold of him, and
You also slept with somebody else.
We weren't even dating then. I was single at that time because he was with this other lady and I was the side chick, which I didn't even really know about.
In a final twist, Mr. Rasmussen's name on the birth certificate and his relentless pursuit of fatherhood come into question. Was it all for love, or are there darker motives at play? As the judge calls for the DNA results, everyone braces for the impact.
Mr. Rasmussen, let me ask you, are you prepared? Have you prepared yourself either way? If this child is my biological child or if she isn't, have you thought about both alternatives?
In a sense, yes. If it goes the way I'm hoping, and I know in my heart that it will, that she is mine, I'm just going to be overjoyed that all the drama and the fighting and all that kind of stuff is behind me.
Phew, that's just a mess, folks. Today's hearing is more than a paternity test. It's a test of intentions, emotions, and legal entanglements. Stay tuned as the drama unfolds and hidden truths come to light. Who's the real father? What secrets lie buried in the whispers of the past? And can there be a fairy tale ending to such a tormented tale? Hold on tight, because this roller coaster is about to reveal its final twist.
Mr. Rasmussen, you are not the father.
Be respectful.
I'm sorry.
Miss Miller.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve considering the alternative is somebody that don't want nothing to do with you or your child.
I'm sorry.
That's a lot of nerve. You just showed me where your priorities were right there. Because I held out hope that you would cheat your child out of a father.
Mr. Levette throws the courtroom into a turmoil, questioning the paternity of 15-month-old Corey Jr. He accuses Ms. Jackson of being a manipulative cheater, claiming her infidelity has clouded the identity of their child's father. Can you believe it?
Hello.
This is the case of Levette versus Jackson.
Thank you, Jerome. Good day, everyone. Mr. Lovett, you say Ms. Jackson is a manipulative cheater who has flaunted her flings in front of you during your relationship, and you say her affairs have caused you to doubt that you fathered her 15-month-old son, Corey Jr. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Jackson fires back, insisting Mr. Levette is definitely the father, arguing his doubts stem from his own insecurities. Their back and forth paints a picture of a relationship submerged in mistrust and accusations. What a mess.
Yeah.
He has a different mother.
Right.
Of course he's gonna look different.
But the stuff that she be doing, it brings the doubts on it.
Okay.
Like, it ain't like you been good.
You're right.
Horse, you've been pregnant.
And you ain't either. He didn't take the relationship seriously. He was talking to other women. So being that he didn't take it seriously, I didn't take it seriously. He was talking to other women and I were talking to other guys.
The plot thickens as Mr. Levette describes his love for Corey Jr., but can't shake his doubts due to the child's appearance and Ms. Jackson's questionable actions. He recounts finding tracking devices and unauthorized access to his social media. Talk about drama.
She on my Facebook, like people be thinking they talking to me and they not. They talking to her. She got my Facebook code and everything.
Okay, I wasn't like stalking you. You gave me your password.
Devices on my phone, right?
Yes, because I did not trust you.
Every time I delete it, I'll wake up in the morning sometimes.
And when you get a new
I'll
phone,
see a little bird on the top of my phone. Like, what this bird doing?
Ms. Jackson admits to her sleuthing tactics, justified by Mr. Levette's history of disloyalty. She's on defense, trying to protect her heart in a relationship where secrets seem to be the norm. Who's fooling who here?
He's been proven to be not loyal. And buying him, me loving him so much and him loving me so much, and us wanting to be together, I had to be certain that I wasn't being played.
You got detective skills.
I don't
You're
play.
looking for another profession.
I don't play.
So, Mr. Lovett, are you accusing Ms. Jackson of cheating in defense of your own cheating?
Exactly.
No.
The courtroom gets a dose of reality as Mr. Levette accuses Ms. Jackson of continuing her old ways, alleging she never stopped seeing other men. He claims every breakup was an opportunity for her to explore, leaving him to wonder if he's even the father. Oh, the irony!
Having kids at the age of 18, she ain't gonna stop because of me. She got 6 kids.
I had 4 kids when you met me. You gave me 2 more.
I'm gonna assume that she just moving on like she always been.
But what evidence do you have that she cheated?
A couple of times we break up and then I come to the house and it was an ex at the house at the time. She told me it was her cousin.
Ms. Jackson sets the record straight, asserting she was only ever reacting to Mr. Levette's actions. A claim he refutes with tales of unexpected visits and mysterious men. It's like something out of a soap opera.
I never told him that the guy was my cousin. I told him his sister was my cousin. He approached the house after we had separated around the time our first child together was conceived. He approached the house. We had gotten into an altercation and he packed all his things and he left. Then he came back. When he came back,
of course, she got a lot of kids.
I was sitting outside. Me and the guy were sitting outside on the back of his truck. He had just finished cutting my grass.
In a climactic twist, Mr. Levette questions the timing of Corey Jr.'s conception, linking it to their on and off relationship. He's convinced there's another man in the picture. Ms. Jackson is adamant, though. Mr. Levette is the father, and she's sticking to her story.
Wait a minute now.
That's not true. Not true.
Is this the grass cutting guy?
Yes. He recognized the guy's face through my messages. The guy hit me up and said, hey, I never replied back. So he played like he was me and was writing the guy, asking the guy all kinds of questions. And did he enjoy my sex?
I didn't say that.
Hold on, Mr. Lovett. Did you request a naked picture?
Yeah.
As the session nears its end, the tension is palpable. Every statement, every accusation adds another layer of complexity to their tangled story. The court is on the edge of its seat, waiting to see how this entangled tale of love, betrayal, and mystery unfolds.
How long have you been married to Miss Jackson?
6 years.
6 years.
Separated for 4 years.
In your mind, is there any chance you are Corey Jr.'s biological father?
No, Your Honor.
None.
No, I have my own life going on. I just had 2 beautiful twins. I'm just waiting for my divorce, for them two to get themselves together so I can finally have my divorce.
With everyone itching to know the truth, the day of reckoning is finally here. Take a deep breath. This is the moment of truth. Are you ready to find out? Let's dive in, because this roller coaster is about to reveal its final twist.
Mr. Coleman, you are not his father. Mr. Lovett, you are not father.
That's why I wanted to get DNA.
Are you sure?
How is that possible?
Do you know who his father? Do you need to sit down, Miss Jackson?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Have you talked about it with the other gentleman, that it's a possibility? Yes.
In the intense atmosphere of paternity court, Ms. Hyman steps up, fiercely determined to prove Mr. Brown is the father of her 4-year-old son, Landon. She's exasperated by Mr. Brown's complete denial and avoidance of any parental responsibilities. No diapers, no visits, nothing. He has done nothing, she asserts, with a mix of frustration and disbelief.
Mr. Brown, you are adamant that you are not Landon's father and say you won't do a thing for the child since he's not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hyman.
Yes, Your Honor.
What has Mr. Brown done for your son?
He has done nothing as far as no diapers, no wipes, no clothes, no visit, no type of affection.
Your Honor, to be honest with you, I shouldn't have to do anything
if I'm asking for a DNA test.
Mr. Brown staunchly refuses to acknowledge Landon, insisting on DNA proof before he considers any involvement. Why should I do anything until I get proof? He challenges, revealing his deep-seated doubts rooted in past experiences where a child turned out not to be his. The courtroom becomes a battleground of trust issues and accusations.
Your Honor, he has not asked for a DNA test. As far as anything, he would say, I'm not taking care of a child unless I get a DNA test. And he really does not tell me. He tells family members. He tells my cousins, my mom, his mom.
So he has never directly asked you for a DNA test? You disagree, Mr. Brown? You say you have?
No.
Yes, I have. Why should I do anything until I need proof?
As they trade barbs, Mr. Brown's skepticism is evident. He recounts, if you went through one situation where you find out a child is not yours and then you're going through another, you would not go through that twice. His past pains bleed into the current dispute, making every claim by Ms. Hyman seem suspect to him.
From the past experience, when I had asked for a DNA test...
She's not talking about the past experience. She's talking about the current experience with our son.
Listen, if you went through one situation, if you went through one
it doesn't matter about that situation. She's talking about the current situation with
If you went through one situation,
Landon.
Your Honor, and you find out a child is not yours, and then you going through another, you will not go through that twice.
Okay, if you would go through it twice.
My point is, in addition to that, we've established that you've had a previous situation.
The debate heats up as Ms. Hyman accuses Mr. Brown of lying about using protection. You ain't used no condom with me but one time, boy. Why is you standing right here lying like that? She exclaims, challenging his credibility in front of the judge. The courtroom erupts in murmurs as the allegations of deceit and denial deepen.
I'm asking you.
You a whole lie. We never walked. You ain't used no condom with me but one time, young boy. Why is you sitting right here lying like that? I wish you would stop lying.
You're saying you never slept with her unprotected.
Lie.
Is that your submission to this court?
The whole lie. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. If I'm lying, I'm flying. Pigs gonna fly through this window right now. You are lying.
Come on now.
Come on now.
All right.
The hearing takes a turn as Miss Tart, Mr. Brown's mother, adds her own doubts. She was approached at work with claims that another man was Landon's father. This revelation adds another layer of drama. He knew firsthand, she confirms, about someone else claiming to be the father. The courtroom's tension peaks as familial bonds and rumors clash dramatically.
So you were at work and someone came up to you and said, I think you should encourage your son to get a blood test.
Yes, sir.
Because
yes, Your Honor.
It's okay. I have a lot of masculine energy, don't I? He encouraged you to have your son get a DNA test.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because he heard or knew firsthand?
He knew firsthand.
He didn't know
that someone else was claiming this child as their own.
Yes, Your Honor.
In a touching moment, Ms. Hyman passionately defends her position, emphasizing Landon's resemblance to Mr. Brown. My son has the same lips, the ears, the eyes, the nose. He has my nose, she asserts, fighting back against the swirling doubts and rumors. The emotional weight of her plea resonates through the courtroom.
My son doesn't have no facial features, no anything as this other young man. My son has the exact same birthmark on the same side as this young man. My son has the same lips, the ears, the eyes, the nose. He has my nose, the chin.
Your Honor, looks don't mean nothing. You can think about a person so much that a child come out looking like that person.
But my whole thing, Your Honor, if you can hang
no, I don't know that.
As the session reaches its climax, the courtroom is charged with anticipation and dread. Both parties articulate their fears and hopes, their voices echoing the profound impact of the case on their lives. They stand on the precipice of a verdict, the courtroom holding its breath, ready for the revelation that could either mend or irreversibly divide their lives.
I appreciate that faulty evidence.
Your Honor, if we was beefing with each other, how can we hang around each other for my child to look like you if we wasn't around each other? How can that happen?
So you resent the fact, Ms. Hyman, that he even questions it all?
No, I don't resent the fact. I don't resent the fact that he questions it. I mean, I can
You believe it's substantiated?
I understand why he questions.
Okay, so you can understand why he questions.
I can understand why he
all
questions.
right.
With everyone on edge, the judge prepares to unveil the DNA truth. The weight of the impending decision is palpable, highlighting the deep human need for closure and truth. Are you ready for the reveal? Stay tuned.
Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
It's okay.
Stop crying.
Ms. Hyman,
Yes, Your Honor.
you assured this court that there were no other possibilities.
I really felt that he was his son.
Are you okay, Mom?
I am.
Were you hoping that
I was.
Mr. Brown? You seem very disappointed.
It's just been 4 long years of just going back and forth.
Onto your hats, folks, because today's episode of Paternity Court is heating up with drama. Ms. Sales steps into the courtroom, her heart on her sleeve, desperate for Mr. Jackson to step up and acknowledge their daughter, Micaiah. She spills the beans on how he ditched his promises as soon as the going got tough. What's really behind his sudden cold feet?
Ms. Sales, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Jackson, were in a serious relationship, and it was his idea to have a baby. But now that your 3-year-old daughter, Micaiah, is here, he denies being her father. You want him to step up and take care of his daughter. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, you claim that Miss Sales is a former side chick.
The scene sets with Ms. Sales tearing up, recounting the once sweet days now soured by Mr. Jackson's outright denial of their daughter. This isn't just a simple case of he said, she said. There is a line of dodged responsibilities and dodgier excuses. The air is thick with tension. Do you feel it? The audience is left pondering. Just how genuine is Mr. Jackson's standoffish stance? As Ms. Sales details their shared history and her shock at his denial, the courtroom hangs on every word, questioning the credibility of Mr. Jackson's denials.
I opened my case today because I was with D'Amico for 5 years. We were in a relationship. We had our baby, and now because he sits up and talks to his family, now he feels like that is not his child. Since the day my daughter was born, because she was light-skinned with gray eyes, that was not his child because I'm too dark to have a light-skinned baby.
Flip the script and enter Mr. Jackson, who shrugs off their history as a mere casual fling. Oh, the audacity. He labels Ms. Sales as a side chick, minimizing their past to mere convenience. This bombshell throws a harsh light on the day's proceedings, making us all wonder if what we're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg of a much more calculated tale. His nonchalant dismissal of their relationship sparks whispers among the audience as they react with disbelief and disdain.
What were you doing?
Huh?
You know, she was like my side woman.
Your side woman?
She was your side woman.
Miko, you gonna stand her
So
lie?
it's your testimony you weren't in a relationship at all.
I mean, we had a relationship, but it wasn't serious. You know, we was just, you know.
You left your ex to come be with me. How was we not in a relationship?
It was more of, you know, she had great sex.
Oh, I put it on him and he could never leave.
I mean,
Judge Lake digs deeper, peeling back the layers of their complicated past. A hospital visit mentioned by Ms. Sales stands out, a pivotal moment possibly leading to Makia's conception. Mr. Jackson fires back with accusations of infidelity, his claims shrouded in suspicions and hearsay. The courtroom becomes a battlefield of accusations, with each side painting a picture of deception and mistrust. Who's playing whom in this tangled web of past love and present denial?
No, regardless, you could still make a baby even though she might have been your side woman. I mean, none of that prevents you from becoming a father.
Yes, but I wasn't the only man that was smashing it.
He's lying. He was the only person that I was messing with, the only person I had been with for a year before I even got pregnant. So again, he's lying.
How long did this last? How long did it go on for?
As the clock ticks towards the dramatic conclusion, the stakes are sky high. With everyone on the edge of their seats, the big question looms. Will the truth about Makia's paternity open a can of worms about hidden motives, fear of commitment, or shirking financial duties? We're all holding our breath for the DNA results. Will they bring clarity, or will they blow open new doors to hidden secrets? Anticipation builds as the judge prepares to unveil the results, promising to resolve or possibly deepen the mystery of the paternity dispute.
So when do you finally find out Ms. Sales is pregnant?
It's around like September.
There it is, September.
Yes, ma'am.
The last week.
Yes, ma'am.
Outlined in hot pink.
Yes, ma'am.
Micaiah was born in May, on May 9th.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it your testimony that you didn't have sex from June when you broke up with Miss Sales all the way in July, nor in August,
Yes, Your Honor.
nor in September?
As the final gavel waits to be slammed, the tension could be cut with a knife. What will the DNA reveal? Are we in for a straightforward answer, or will it only lead to more questions about the real Mr. Jackson and Ms. Sales? It's almost time for the verdict. And let me tell you, this revelation will be one for the books. The courtroom holds its breath as the judge delivers the verdict, potentially changing lives forever.
Mr. Jackson, you are the father.
Now I know who my baby daddy is.
Miss Sales, you don't have to do that. I don't run no circus, and I don't need no clowns.
I understand.
We're talking about a baby. She should know who you are.
She know who I am.
She don't need no side daddy. She needs the daddy that is going to be protecting her.
Strap in, folks, as today's episode of Paternity Court rolls out a riveting tale of love, money, and a whopping question mark over fatherhood. Mr. Harvey finds himself in a whirlwind drama over a hefty sum of $496.52 spent on baby supplies for a child he's convinced isn't his. On the flip side, Ms. Jett is on a mission to prove him wrong and pull him up to the responsibilities of dadhood.
Mr. Harvey, you are asking the court to award you $496.52 for baby supplies you say the defendant, Ms. Jett, demanded for a child you adamantly deny is yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Jett, in response to Mr. Harvey's suit, you have petitioned the court for the results of a paternity test.
Yes, Your Honor.
The courtroom drama kicks off with Mr. Harvey demanding a refund for all the baby essentials he reluctantly purchased. Counteracting, Ms. Jett insists on a DNA test, determined to expose the truth that he is indeed the father who needs to step up. The backstory unfolds rapidly with their swift transition from casual online chats to sharing a home, and soon, the chaos of an impending baby sparks a fiery breakup. The details of their rapid escalation from dating to cohabitating to separation set the stage right up for a heated legal battle.
After us having sex, she got pregnant.
Your Honor, that's a lie. In July, I started dating Harvey. Every day, I actually moved with Harvey in July. Every day.
In with
yes,
him?
I did. And every day we had sex every day.
You got pregnant 2 weeks.
I didn't find out till I was
we had sex the first week I met you.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so it was the second
I didn't
week.
find out till I was pregnant a month later, which was August.
The tension escalates as Mr. Harvey presents receipts and witness testimonies, attempting to disentangle himself from financial commitments. Ms. Jett, supported by her mom, argues that Mr. Harvey is merely trying to dodge his paternal duties. Emotions surge as both parties lay their cards on the table, each adamant about their version of the truth. But come on! He had receipts. He couldn't be lying, right?
We stopped talking, she moved back to Orlando, she wrote.
Why'd you stop talking?
Because he was so sexually active with other women. He was cheating on me.
Okay, so there was a breakdown in the relationship,
Yes,
and then it ended.
Yes.
So at some point you were living apart.
Yes.
And then you demanded he bring you.
I was asking him months and months and months. Can he get this? Can he get that? He said, no, I'm not getting.
Just when Mr. Harvey seemed to embrace the idea of fatherhood, the plot thickens with accusations of infidelity and a controversial Facebook photo tag linking another man to their child. This unexpected twist sends Mr. Harvey reeling, fueling his doubts about the entire situation. As the courtroom buzzes with the drama of receipts and eyewitness accounts, suspicions arise that Ms. Jett may have viewed the baby as a ticket to financial stability. The air crackles with tension as the courtroom becomes a battleground for truth and deception. And it is no joke.
Don't worry, you ain't gotta worry about me leaving her. You said that.
And I can sense your anger and your frustration.
You said
and that's because you feel like he's turned his back on?
Yes.
The baby?
Because also, Your Honor, he was there for the delivery.
And Your Honor, I lost my job because of that too.
He cut the cord.
I lost my job because I was supposed to go to work that morning, and I came over there. I came there. We wasn't even talking. She was in a relationship our whole pregnancy.
As the episode nears its climax, the audience is on the edge of their seats, absorbed by the unfolding drama that dives deep into the motives, deceit, and the high stakes of money swirling at the core of this romantic debacle. What's the real story? And at what cost does a romance falter and fall? Stay tuned as the curtain rises on the dramatic finale, where the results of the DNA test are revealed. Will the truth free Mr. Harvey from financial burdens, or tether him forever to a new reality? We're about to find out. Make sure you're seated and ready for a verdict that could change lives. Here it comes. Are you ready for the big reveal?
Mr. Harvey, you are not her father.
It's fine. That's fine. It's fine, because I was in a relationship before I met him. I was in a relationship previous.
Oh, now you're in a relationship?
Before I met you, yes, but I was never pregnant.
Ms. Jett, you so diplomatic now.
Because, no, listen, Your Honor, you're not.
I just witnessed.
This is a tough one, and I hope you're ready for it. In this emotionally charged episode, the stakes are high as Mr. White brings his ex-wife, Ms. Mock, to court. He contends that she cleverly orchestrated the removal of his parental rights to pave the way for another man to adopt their daughter, suggesting hidden motives and perhaps financial incentives behind her actions.
Mr. White, you've brought your ex-wife to court today because you believe she mysteriously had your parental rights revoked for a girl you believe was your biological daughter, thus allowing another man to adopt her.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test and say once the results prove that you are indeed Miss Tasha Mock's biological father, you would like her mother to pay you $5,000
Mr. White opens with a tale of legal battles fought from behind bars, where he believed he was. Mr. White opens with a tale of legal battles fought from behind bars, where he believed he was defending his right to be a father. His story of perseverance as a dad in jail paints a tearful picture of a man struggling against the odds. Meanwhile, Ms. Mock's insistence that Mr. White is not the father shows her desperate measures to ensure her daughter's future, possibly swayed by the allure of stability offered by another man. Their stories unravel, drawing a complex picture of what might have been a battle less about custody and more about severing ties, peppered with accusations of deception and manipulation. Talk about messy.
30 days after Tasha was born, she brought her to the jail, let me hold her. The day afterwards, I was shipped upstate for 10 years. Now, a couple years after that, Julia had filed a petition to court for divorce in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. It's allowed because I was incarcerated for a period exceeding 2 years. About a year after that, she petitioned the court to involuntarily terminate my parental rights to both my son and to Tasha. I acted as my own attorney because I had nothing but...
As the courtroom tension escalates, Ms. Mock's defense portrays her as a protective mother, but under the intense gaze of Judge Lake, inconsistencies begin to surface. The layers of their tumultuous relationship peel back, revealing a saga of distrust and strategic maneuvers possibly motivated by financial benefits or an escape from past emotional entanglements. The audience is left weighing her claims. Was she acting as a protective mother, or were darker motives at play?
You are submitting to this court that Mr. White is not, in fact, her biological father?
I don't believe so.
Please explain why, specifically.
He was always leaving me, going out with other women. Why should I have to deal with that?
So are you saying because he would leave you and go out with other women, you would sleep with other men?
Nope, I supped with one other. I was dating him. And when I got home from the grocery store, Mr. White...
The emotional climax reaches its peak when Tasha, the daughter at the heart of the dispute, speaks out. Her journey to uncover her true heritage and the impact of her mother's decisions highlight the episode's theme, how the quest for security can sometimes lead individuals down a path of deception and manipulation.
Who did you actually think was your father growing up?
I believed my adopted father was my father until I heard my grandmother on the phone, and she stated that there was another gentleman.
How old were you then?
7 or 8.
And is that the only time in your lifetime that you heard you could have another possible father?
No, after my brother had passed away, I found adoption papers.
As the clock ticks down to the final gavel, the air in the courtroom is thick with suspense. Every piece of testimony adds another layer to the messed up web of family loyalty, betrayal, and the exploitation of legal loopholes for personal advantage. As the episode wraps up, viewers are perched on the edge of their seats, pondering a critical question. In the murky world of human motives and legal battles, can true justice ever really emerge victorious? Or is money the primary aim? Stay tuned, because just when you think you figured it all out, the final verdict promises to shake everything up. The truth is about to come out.
Mr. White, you are not the father.
Sorry, baby. I'll still help you.
Are you okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. White, are you all right?
Yes, Your Honor, I will be.
I know it's not the news you wanted. You say that you will help her find her biological father if she asks for that help.
And here again, we dive into the intense drama between Ms. Currington and Mr. Kim Larson, whose relationship is marked by a big age difference and now a heated paternity dispute. Ms. Currington is adamant that Mr. Larson is the father of her 5-month-old daughter, Kaoira. She's here to challenge his denials and demand he take responsibility as a father.
Ms. Currington, you claim during a torrid older-younger love affair, the defendant fathered your 5-month-old daughter, Kaoira. Once today's results prove he is the father, you want him to stop denying and take full responsibility. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Kim Larson, you and your daughter say that the plaintiff may be young, but is a known playgirl and claims you are the father.
From the get-go, Miss Currington claims that their daughter was planted, describing Mr. Larson as a willing partner in starting a family at first. She shares how Mr. Larson's commitment seemed to vanish when he entered a new relationship, suggesting his change of heart might be more about convenience and his finances than actual disinterest.
So, Miss Currington, How upset does it make you feel that Mr. Kim Larson denies your daughter?
It makes me feel pissed off because we planned this baby.
You planned the baby?
Yes, we did.
What was said?
He wanted to have a baby by me, and that was that. And we kept trying and trying and trying.
And now that the baby's here, he denies the baby?
Yes, because I'm in another relationship.
Oh.
Mr. Larson counters, painting Ms. Currington as a clever manipulator whose real goal was to latch onto his wealth. The courtroom is left wondering whether her intentions were really about love or influenced by Mr. Larson's money, a common question in stories of relationships with big age and wealth gaps.
Mr. Kim Larson, you deny this baby. You say this baby's not yours.
Yes, Honor. I can explain that to you. She's a player. She's unpredictable. She played a game with my emotion. She plotted.
Oh, you say she plotted?
Yes.
So you think she did all of this on purpose?
Yes.
Did you plan to have a baby together? Were you trying to have a baby?
No, Honor.
As the testimonies continue, Ms. Currington describes their first meeting, which she says was filled with mutual attraction, but overshadowed by Mr. Larson showing off his wealth. This part of their story mixes romance with financial motives, making everyone question the real basis of their relationship. Was it love, or was Mr. Larson just a financial target for her?
25 years older than you.
I met Ian at the hotel. He came in, he approached me and asked me if I seen his girlfriend at that time. And I said no, but I would help you look for her. So we walked in the hallways and knocked on every door, okay?
What made you want to help him look for his girlfriend?
Because I was being nice at the time.
You were being nice?
Promiscuous.
As we move closer to finding out the truth about Kawaira's paternity, the tension in the courtroom builds. This episode highlights deep issues like trust, betrayal, and the complexities of relationships where money plays a big role. Is Ms. Currington genuinely in love, or was this all a plan to secure a wealthy partner? Stay tuned as we prepare for the big reveal. The upcoming decision promises to cut through the complications and show us the truth. Will the court support Ms. Currington's claims, or will Mr. Larson's doubts about her motives hold up? Watch as the verdict unfolds. It's going to be a revealing conclusion to a saga filled with emotion and drama. Get ready. The truth is about to be laid bare.
Mr. Kim Larson, you are the father.
Dad. No. You already knew that.
That makes you emotional to hear, Mr. Kim Larson?
Yes, Honor.
And why is that?
I don't know how to explain.
You're happy that she's your little girl, or you're just happy you know the truth? What are you feeling?